So it was brought to my attention that, while I was driving, somebody called me and I answered, and they brought it to my attention that Coinbase Coinbase had basically sent out an email pertaining to BG wealth sharing, and I was like, I don't know if I got the email, but I check as soon as I park. As soon as I park, I check, and Coinbase had sent it to me too, because they know I had sent something to that exchange, and they were just letting it be known that it has, in so many words, been blacklisted. I'm gonna read the email to you, and hopefully you didn't pay that tax, because it's not looking pretty, even with the May 7th promises of everything going back to normal. Because this is what you got to understand: even if something miraculous happened and people were able to get access to their funds, and I'm looking into things just in case it's a way that we can tap into the fact that we actually got bamboozled, and I told you I'm publicly wrong, so to speak, so I've said that, so yeah, I joined because I saw the intent, saw the possibilities, saw people that I trusted and knew who was winning and doing certain things, and I was like, you know what, after I declined the first time, you know what, let me go and give it a go. And I'm glad that only 2 or 3 people enrolled or joined through my link, while communicating on YouTube, and not 200 or 300, because I just don't want to be tied to people losing money. Typically when I'm educating, I'm talking about how to minimize taxes, increase your credit so you can lower your interest rate, so you can get more money back in the form of interest and not be overcharged for certain things and things of that nature. You getting more money back into your pocket, income shifting income for money that is misdirected back into your household. So definitely people losing money doesn't sit well with me. Me losing money doesn't sit well with me as well, but I know what I'm up against, and a lot of times these type of losses still can be tax deductible. So I'm paying attention and I'm well aware of those things. And fortunately, the people that enrolled with me, we had a conversation, because I'm not ducking the high. They call, I'm answering. I'm at least messaging soon and then hitting them back as soon as I can. But fortunately, people are like, yeah, man, I done tried all kind of stuff, so I know it's the possibilities of this, but I was just willing to try it because I'm looking for something. I'm wanting to do this, outpace inflation. So they understood the risk like I did. So they were like minds, like me. But it's still unfortunate. I don't want nobody losing money off of something, that they learned about through me. But I'm glad it was only 2 or 3, not 200 or 300 or thousands, which it could have easily been. There's more people watching that are in BG Wealth Sharing already that's tapping in, or people who are vetting scammers and things of that nature that are watching, than people who were non-members looking to enroll. Because most of my videos was documenting BG Wealth Sharing, meaning that they already knew about BG Wealth Sharing. They was exposed to it through someone else. It's not like my videos were centered around targeting people who were just interested in investing, and then they found out about BG Wealth Sharing and now they became a member. Most of mine was just, hey, this is my experience. So if you found my video, you probably were already in BG, researching BG, going against BG, whatever. That was your state of mind prior to. So everything happens for a reason in that sense. And that's how I view things. But let's get into this email just so you can see it verbatim. And you probably already received it as well. Now, I don't know if any other platforms, because not everybody used Coinbase for this, but Coinbase sent this email. I can't speak for every other platform, but this is what Coinbase had to say. So Coinbase takes a number of steps behind the scenes to keep your account safe, and we are constantly monitoring unusual activity and ongoing scams that may affect our customers. Based on this monitoring, we are concerned you may have sent cryptocurrency to a fraudulent investment platform. Out of an abundance of caution, we have temporarily paused your ability to send crypto. You will still be able to invest and withdraw cash from your Coinbase account, which is good that, I can still invest and withdraw cash. I don't like the inability to send crypto, especially for those of you who understand the importance of buying crypto and putting it in a wallet that you have the key to, because, if it's on a platform, it's not your crypto. If you don't have the keys, it's not your cheese, as they say. But, being able to still invest and withdraw to whatever account is still active. So, that is what it is. Then they went on to say, we identified that you sent funds to BG Wealth Sharing Ltd on the DSJ exchange platform. That's what they said. And then they said on May 2nd, 2026, the U.S. federal law enforcement seized the BG Wealth Sharing scam site, bgwealthsharing.com. Somebody said that site wasn't used by BG. It was something else at first, but I'm not sure how certain that is. But I know if you go to that site, you'll see the big banner as if it was seized by, the feds. And then it says DSJ Exchange has also been officially flagged by other regulators, including those in the UK, Canada, New Zealand, as a scam. And we know all about those people. Some of, the New Zealand people use my videos, all my videos. Don't send me a percentage of the money that you're making off of my videos. Just playing, but I see it. Anyway, that being said, it says operating as a fake investment platform to defraud investors and steal their funds. While these scams are not related to any vulnerability in Coinbase systems or the security of your account, we wanted to provide you with more information to help protect you from scams. It is essential that you conduct proper due diligence prior to making any transaction or sending digital currency to an individual or third party, which those of you who are in crypto, you understand that. If you're sending crypto, if you send it to the wrong place on the wrong chain, you might as well say farewell for the most part. They have other measures that they're incorporating for those who accidentally send it to the wrong chain. But for the most part, if you send it, you got to make sure. You better do a tester amount. But, they just saying they're taking an abundance of precaution. So what you can do next, stop all payments. Do not send more money for taxes or fees. You will not get it back. That's interesting for them to say. So, I know somebody said in my comments that they actually paid it and withdrew, but I haven't confirmed. I got to know the person personally before I believe it. Then it says report it. File a report with the FBI IC3. For those of you who want to file a report, I think it's beyond this stage. So I don't know if this makes sense to do. I thought about doing a video about this. I still may, but the FBI IC3 site is basically ic3.gov. And that stands for Crime Complaint Center, or Internet Crime Complaint Center. And basically you can file a complaint on BG Wealth Sharing. Well, if it's already on Coinbase, I heard it was on MSN and some other places, then it's already beyond that point. The main thing would be, okay, is it a way to recoup? Because if they, from my understanding, they have like 41 million seized, $41 million seized. Okay, the question is, what are y'all going to do with that money? Because there's real people money tied into that 41 million. Are y'all going to distribute that to those who had money tied into it because they invested in, and didn't realize that BG wasn't what they thought it was? Are y'all going to redistribute that? If so, how do people go about claiming, what's theirs? Even if it's the principal, even if it's just the principal and not the quote unquote interest. Or are y'all going to absorb that 41 million and just consider it a come up? Because if that's the case, then y'all benefited off of BG. That's a whole nother conversation. What are y'all going to do with the 41 million? Or is it going to be released and distributed, even if it's just the principal that people initially put in? That's just a curiosity question by me. All right. Then it goes on to say, you can send it to your local financial regulator. Beware of recovery scams. You may be contacted by people claiming that they can hack the platform to get your money back. These are also scammers. No one can undo a blockchain transaction once these scammers have moved the funds. And then warning signs to avoid future scams. These are some of the warning signs and indicators of a potential scam. Investment and investment platforms based on unsolicited recommendations of people met online or virtually. The URL of an investment platform doesn't match the official website of a popular cryptocurrency market or exchange, but may be very similar. The investment app generates warnings of being untrusted when launched, or computer antivirus software marks it as potentially dangerous. The investment opportunity sounds too good to be true or promises unreasonably high returns on your investment. The investment firm may advise you to install software on your computer. Now, I do feel like it's something out there, or things out there that can allow a person to produce higher than normal rates of return, even if you train your own bot, so you're not dependent on someone else. Because it's a lot of people that are making promises, and a lot of companies, and some of it is going to look good and favorable and possibly be a great income generator for a decent amount of time, but you still got to learn how to fish, because people are pitching me left and right on, something I may go over and share the details on, not to get people to enroll, because I I think it's going to end up just like BG. So I'm not interested in enrolling. So I might just share the warnings of it, but I don't want my channel to be centered around that, warnings, but it ties directly into what I've been talking about. So I may share that, but people have been pitching me left and right. Hey, consider this, this is what I'm doing, join this. And they just dropping the link and not even, they're not doing it tastefully or the right way, in my opinion. And then somebody found me on YouTube, I believe, and sent me an email and, and I actually know the people who they probably enrolling through. Like, got the person phone number in my, who they probably are enrolling through. And I still am like, nah, this ain't the route I want for people. I want people to develop skill sets and assets. Learn how to fish for yourself. Yes, it may be some good stuff out there. And if it's something good, we can either vet it as a community. For those of you who are tapped in, we can say, hey, let's vet this together. Or some of the scam experts that are out there, can vet it and be of assistance. See, that's the best way to use that skill set, I feel. Sometimes when people are just online and they're bashing or knocking what people are doing to try to make a come up, try to get ahead, or try to outpace inflation and the price, the cost of goods and services, things that are going up, but they're just bashing people, then that, I don't really respect that like that. However, if your skill set in investigating can be used for the greater good to find things that people can trust, believe in, that can help them, accomplish their goals on a financial basis, now it becomes teamwork, a partnership, and some possibilities, more power in collaboration than it is, bashing and doing what some people prefer to do. That's how I operate. That's just me. I'm a real person, real human. I'm not on the scam and none of that. I don't play about that. My integrity is intact. Things that I stick to, I commit to. Loyal in all areas of life. Got day one friends. Like partner I went to preschool with. We hang out with. Somebody I went to kindergarten with. Like, I got day one friends, and a person who has day one friends is a loyal individual. Never cheated on my wife as none of that. That's how loyal I am. I'm a genuine individual, so I don't play those games to really play with people or their money. And I know that was a brief rant, but that's just a representation of who I am. So I'm not in the business of, I'm on to the next thing, let's see what else we can do. Nah. That's not what I'm on. And I know that may be the assumption of some, that they're just gonna move to the next thing because they've been burnt before and they know people who do that. That's not me. So take me out that category, take me out that box. But it says, for more information on how to protect yourself from scams, visit the blog. They have a clickable blog, and due to the nature of cryptocurrencies, any funds sent to the blockchain are irreversible. For this reason, once a send has been initiated, it cannot be undone, and there is no way for Coinbase to cancel, reverse, or recover crypto sent off our platform. So there you have it. That's what Coinbase had to say. I know a lot of people are still hopeful for May 7th, but once my trust had been shattered about the platform, or the belief had been shattered about the platform, you started seeing, okay, this ain't looking good. This ain't, what I thought it was. This tax doesn't make sense. Oh, my address has changed in the system. In my system, why did this deposit address change? That may make sense to some, but it didn't make sense to me. So I have to use my own discernment and determine whether or not this is right or not, and then speak on it, document it, share my experience, and then allow you to come to your own conclusion. Not telling you what to do, how to do it. You have to do the same for you. Like, it's people that I told, hey, I'm not doing the 12% fee, and it's people that was like, man, I just went ahead and did it. Hey, that's what they were supposed to do. What they felt was right for them. I did what was right for me. They did what was right for them. So, no harm in that. That's what you're supposed to do. I just share my experience, what I'm doing, and how and why I chose that thing, and then people can do what they choose with that information. That concludes this video. I got some more coming down the pipeline, but I want y'all to be getting your mind wrapped around skill sets and assets if you're not already at that place, because the ability to generate money from the market is real. Even though the BG web sharing, seems to have played out the way it played out, that doesn't remove the fact that there's liquidity in the market, because people are putting their money into the stock market regularly. big companies, big money, putting their money into the companies regularly, putting money into crypto, Bitcoin regularly. So if you're gonna be a buy and hold type person, make sure it's something that you believe is long term. That if you decide you want to hold it for a decade, it's gonna not just be around, be innovative and relevant in 10 years. And then as it relates to learning the game of trading, understanding that people are literally making 1% a day in trading. Some much more than that when you get good at it, but that's not far-fetched. That's how certain people have become millionaires in a short amount of time. Of course, they're adding money, they're benefiting from ROIs and things of that nature, but some people are traders and doing their thing. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of people who have traded or tried to trade and were unsuccessful. So that's why you got to get skilled up. You got to, put the reps in. But what I want to do, and I'm vetting this really a paper trading version or a gamified way to learn trading. But what I want to do is find one thing, one strategy, one trading strategy. Not like trying to learn 5 or 10, but want to find one strategy that I'm like, okay, this is the one I want to master. If I decide to add to it beyond that, cool. But if I can find one that I'm like, I can get a high win rate for me is if I can win 7 out of 10 times. Now we're working with something. If I can win 7 out of 10 times, now, I can replicate and create a level of success because the wins, outweigh the losses to a great extent. I was going to use a different word, but the wins outweigh the losses. That's the name of the game, and maintaining that discipline. So that's what I'm looking for. If it's just one strategy, like, okay, I want to pay attention to the RSI and whatever it is, I want to find one strategy that I can use. And if y'all know some, that's like, hey, this one strategy right here, has produced, I'm open. I'm open to hearing that strategy so I can implement, try it, see if it works for me based on my style, and then make it mine. If not, I'll find it one way or another. That's all I got for this video. I know I extended it and talked about some things, representative of my loyalty and how I'm not, on that on that hopping from thing to thing train. That's not how I'm wired. That's not how I'm built. That's not me. So that's all I got for this video. Mr. Smith signing out. Salute.